right, if you want to take better structured notes faster, more efficiently, without being locked into some stupid SaaS product, watch till the end for a surprise. Just kidding. This is actually just a video about me obsessing over my long-term crush product called logseq. It's an open source note-taking app, and I've gotten back into using it lately. They've made a lot of updates and changes. The original version was like a pure markdown version, but now they've transitioned to a SQLite database version, and I've been following the project over many years at this point, and every few months I seem to want to give it another test drive because I'm just so perpetually dissatisfied with all of the different note-taking applications that there are, from Obsidian to DevonThink to Evernote to, if you name the note-taking app, I've tried it and many times off and on. And part of the issue is my inability to commit, admittedly. And I kind of do enjoy like testing out these different things, but the reality is that I keep finding myself coming back to logseq for one reason or another. And I think the reason behind that is just the simplicity of it. The fact that you open it up and it's the current day. That find me another app that does that. I'm sure they exist. I know they exist. I've tried them, but they all try to do so many things that they lose sight of just this beautiful simplicity of logseq. You open it and it's your daily journal. And this is a brand new journal, of course, so you're not going to see the past history, but you could scroll down the page and you would see the day before, you'd see the day before that. You just have like this nice, neat vertical scroll journal that is your logseq database. But that's that. The simplicity of that is what makes it amazing. But I mean, if that's the only thing it did, it wouldn't be worth talking about, of course. So I kind of want to just show you through some of the things that I've been doing with it lately, taking notes, logging calls, all of the chaotic stuff that just happens in regular work life doesn't seem to be like all of the other note-taking apps don't seem to be able to take the chaotic input of like regular work life. They all try to make it too structured. They all try to force you into their way of thinking. Whereas logseq, you can kind of build your own organizational system. And that's kind of a double-edged sword. But if you keep it really simple, like hopefully I'm about to show you for just some basic things, then it actually makes a lot of sense. And it's a tool that you can just open it up and throw things into it. And you don't have to try to like fit into some rigid note structure or like some folder structure that somebody else defines for you. And on that topic, why not open Obsidian and explore all of the ways that I absolutely abhor that app, just to kind of compare, because I feel like logseq and Obsidian kind of get thrown around in the same conversations online. And to me, there's like literally nothing further apart than the two of them, other than sure they both use Markdown. So let's just open Obsidian and just from the start, like, okay, your boss calls you, or you have a work call, or you need to take a note on something random. You open up Obsidian. Okay, what do? Okay, I could go to a file, I could create a note. What is a note? I don't know. Create a note. Okay, cool. It starts this blank, like whatever it is. Okay, now I have to think of what I'm calling the note. Boss called me, whatever. Okay, so now what am I gonna do? Some like, okay, bullet point, do this thing. Okay, cool. Now do this other thing with Bob. Okay, now we just have a couple of random bullet points, some other information, whatever. This note is just, you may as well get out a piece of paper and like scribble on it, because this is trash. You're never going to know where this is. Sure, you can have this elaborate folder structure like everybody recommends that you build on YouTube. I mean, you have like a new video every 5 seconds on Obsidian and how somebody's mastered the right way of using Obsidian and how to architect it so that it actually makes sense. And then you end up with some steaming pile of garbage like I have right here. So cool, I have my inbox. Let me open it. Oh, and then I have like some other random folder. Oh, another steaming pile of trash. And then, oh, I'll just throw my boss note in my inbox and let me get back to that and archive it into some other folder in 10 years when I have a new job and when it's no longer relevant at all to anybody for anything. And now imagine you have like, oh, now I need to do something. So cool, we'll make a little to-do list, whatever. Or now I need to talk to Sally. And like, who is Sally? Sure, I think Obsidian. Yeah, you can. Cool. Let's build a page or something for Sally. Okay. Yep. Awesome. Now I can click into Sally and I can take notes on Sally. Awesome. So now we just have a bunch of like free floating to-dos and random information that we've collected from the boss's call. And it's complete chaos. There's no order to it. You can't, I don't know. Now you have Sally here because you created her. Sure. Now we can like make a folder called people or something and we'll drop Sally in there. Okay, cool. We have a folder called Sally, or a folder called people, and we have Sally in there. Awesome. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm trashing on Obsidian because I've wanted to for a long time, but it has its place. People use it. It has like a incredible fan base. I think most people pay for the premium subscription for 3 years, like I did before actually trying and failing to make real use of it. So that's kind of my situation with Obsidian. You open it up, it's just chaos. Like create a note, okay, and then you have to worry about filing it. I know there's like every single possible extension under the sun that you could install and customize it with. You just like, and I really hope the haters come out of the woodwork and crucify me over this. It will make my day. But yeah, what you spend like the first 3 weeks of using Obsidian just trying to figure out what are they which plugin to use, and then you go down every single rabbit hole with every plugin, and it's like, oh cool, some of them do things and some of them like automatically organize your information, and all of a sudden you're like trusting this random community of plugins to, I don't know, support your Obsidian vault. And eventually it's like, what even is this tool? Because it would be nothing without all of these crazy plugins. And I don't know, at that point, you may as well just vibe code your own freaking markdown archive. Another thing that I absolutely can't stand with Obsidian is all of these tiny little icons. I've opened this app and looked at it probably, I don't know, once a week for 5 years because I like self-torture, apparently. But I have no clue what any of these icons do. You have to be a hardcore Obsidian user to memorize these if you're, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit slow. But the point is, it is not like an app that I enjoy using ever for anything, hardly. Like sometimes I'll have an archive of markdown files that I throw in here, and it's just kind of nice to have like whatever, a nice little markdown viewer. But then sure enough, like 3 seconds later, they all get disorganized. I don't have like a very good mental model of file naming conventions that I stick to. So I'll just end up with like 400 different files called like version 1, version 2, version 3000, and I'll have to like rearrange them all. But anyway, that's my passionate little rant about Obsidian. And again, sure, it's cool. It has a lot of things you can do with it. But the complexity of it and the fact that there's like every 5 minutes, like I said, there's a new YouTube video about like, oh, this is finally the right way to use Obsidian. All you need is these 3 plugins and you're an idiot if you don't use Obsidian. Okay, whatever. Hopefully I've properly demonstrated my incompetence when it comes to Obsidian. I just had to trash it for a second just to compare to logseq to draw a distinction between the two, because they're kind of in the same mental category for anybody that's gone down all of these rabbit holes like I do every 5 minutes. But the point is, it's hard to know what you're even doing. The UI sucks, in my opinion, respectfully, Obsidian development community. I absolutely hate it. I never know what any of these icons do. I just want the simplicity of opening an app and taking notes. And I guess that's where we'll transition to logseq from here. So we'll close Obsidian. Again, this is logseq, just beautiful, simple, nothing going on here. Maybe that says more about me than any of these apps that I'm talking about. But we have this little sidebar, nice and simple. You can toggle it with TL, those hotkeys, TL. We have You can have different databases. So like Obsidian, you have your vault, whatever. Everybody gets confused about that. It's just basically where you're storing all of your notes. But in logseq, it's called a graph. So you can come in here and create a new DB graph. Quick note, this is the logseq database version. Can't remember if I mentioned that, but big difference between the original version. This is the 2.0.1 alpha nightly. So like the latest cutting edge that you have to get on GitHub, which is really simple. I can show you how to do that at the end or something. Of course, if you don't know how to do any of this, just send the link to your agent to the logseq GitHub project. There we go. If you don't know how to install it. Anyways, so this is logseq. Again, we got our little sidebar. You can do flashcards. It's kind of a fun little feature. Really janky, but it works, gets the job done. GF, flashcards. GG apparently is G. Go to the graph view. TL again is a sidebar. Probably learn how to use these better if I'm going to make a freaking YouTube video about it. Anyways, so journal is like the main view that you go into every day. You got your flashcards, you got your pages, which we'll go into a little bit. I'm no expert by any means, but we'll go through it. And then you can, again, just beautiful. Like you got your favorites. I just want to favorite something. And then I just want to see my recent documents. I'm just simple, apparently. So let's just keep going. If you're unfamiliar with this style of note taking, it's a bullet based like block editor. Every single one of these bullets has like its own identity. Basically, it's considered a node or whatever they call it these days. I don't know. I think it's a node, but they can expand. You can drill into them, I think, indefinitely. I'm using a hotkey combo, whatever keybind right now that is native to logseq. It is command up to collapse the bullet or bullets beneath the current one. So command up or command down expands, tracks, expands. So we can come all the way up here, command up to collapse that whole thing. Just that is, you can't do that in Obsidian. Okay. All right, everybody, you can't do that in Obsidian. And I just love that. So we'll collapse that. Again, this is just nonsense. So we'll delete this bullet or block. Okay, they call it a block. Delete the block, or you can just do like command backspace, whatever. Okay, so let's go through the boss calling scenario in logseq. Okay, let's just say your boss is called Timmy. So we'll do this double bracket thing. Timmy Jones called to talk about, dude, I don't know, potato chips. The potato chip factory production line. So, okay, so now we have structured data already. We got Timmy Jones, like kind of like we had with Sally. I guess same concept almost as far as Obsidian goes. You have this nice little pop-up that comes up when you hover over it. You can take more notes about Timmy. This is my boss. He likes crayons. Dude, I don't know. He likes to eat hamburgers and French fries. So now, again, we're just in this little cool little hover thing, which I never use, but I probably will now because it's nice. Just go off of it, hover back on it. Cool, we have Timmy. You can, of course, click into it. So this is Timmy Jones. This is my boss. He likes to eat hamburgers and French fries. Cool, let's collapse that. Actually, let's do this. Things he likes. So now we have a nice little heading. We'll indent. I'm just doing that with tab. Command up again. We'll collapse all that stuff. Cool. So already, oh, we just have like this really nice structured data. Things he likes. And then we'll go GJ. No, what was it? I don't even know. Oh, I guess it is GJ. Maybe you just can't be inside of an editing state. Yeah, so GJ, you just can't be editing something to use that hotkey or that keybind, whatever. Dude, I don't know what to call it. Anyways, so now we're back on July 6th. Don't have to think about it. I didn't have to like, what file name am I going to use for the fact that I wanted to take a note about talking to my boss? You know, we're just in July 6th, and I just took a structured note about Timmy Jones, my boss. I didn't have to like separately build a page or think about anything. All you have to know is the double bracket thing is what creates a page. So that is technically a page we just created. So now let's say that I want to have like some structured data around the fact that this was a phone call. So we'll call this an interaction. That's kind of what I've been doing lately. And I find this actually works really well because an interaction can be like a call, meeting, a email, whatever you kind of want to log if you're obsessive, like apparently I am now that I'm hearing myself say this. But there's just so many, in the age of AI especially, there's just so much information flying around that logseq is kind of like a refuge of, okay, this is like my real notes. This is real life. And yes, of course, I have directed agents to operate inside of my logseq and to like help me analyze notes that I've taken and stuff like that. But there's a little bit of friction there, and that's almost something that I appreciate. They do have a nice little API and MCP server, so agents can pretty effectively and efficiently engage and interact with logseq if you want them to. If you want to like point Claude or Codex or whatever at your logseq instance, you can, and they generally do pretty well with it. This is still like an alpha product, so it's a little bit janky sometimes. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So we just logged this as an interaction. So now, so this is a tag. Interaction is a tag. We just signified that by the hashtag versus the page, which is the double bracket thing. So just to reiterate, we have the page, Timmy Jones. Oh, and apparently, okay, so this is something new with the database version, apparently. So an interaction, even though I called it a tag, or even though it is a tag, it's still a page, apparently. If you're confused about that, don't worry about it. So am I. And this is nothing to do with logseq. I mean, I sound like I'm being an apologist at this point, but tagging has always confused me, and it's kind of one of those things that you have to be very deliberate about. Like even when Mac OS finally allowed you to tag things, like I still never use that feature because I don't really have a structured way of thinking about it for the most part. But this is like one situation where tags make sense to me. Okay, somebody called me, my boss called me, and it's in my mind, that's an interaction. Okay. So the cool thing is you can like customize these tags. I don't even know what, like I should find a better way of explaining these things. You can assign structured data to tags or pages is the takeaway here. So this is giving us a list of all of the interactions that we've had. We had an interaction with Timmy Jones so far, right? So now what if we want to say, okay, I want to think about like this in a structured way. So this was technically a call, right? So let's add a new property to this interaction and we'll call it interaction type. And then we will say text, I think is what I do. And then we'll customize this interaction type, give it some available choices. Oh, that's weird. I think it's my stupid tiling managers screw everything up. Okay, we'll see if this works. So interaction type, available choices, add choice. I don't know if this is a logseq issue or something to do with my tiling manager, but anyways, let's just roll with it. That's very likely some combination of my tiling manager and logseq being an alpha product, but I haven't had this issue, so you probably won't either. Of course, it's just because I'm filming. Anyways, available choices, add choice, call. Well, let's just stay lowercase. Let's assign. Oh, nice. I can't even click that. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, well, if it were letting me click this, you could select an emoji, and then we'll say only for interaction. So we have one choice, which is a call. Let's do meeting only for interaction. And then, I don't know, let's do email. So again, we're on the interaction tag, and we added a new property to the tag. Just think of it as structured data. Don't get overwhelmed by it, or do. I always do. Definitely do that. Interaction type. So we established that we now have 3 available choices that we can select from. So now let's go back to the journal, just the starting page, and you'll now see this interaction type empty. It's hidden unless you have it expanded. So click on that, call. Awesome. So now we have structured data around exactly what this is. So Timmy called, we logged it as an interaction, and then we set that it was a call. So now we can go back to our interactions, Or actually, let's add a couple more things. Let's say Jane Doe called or talked about skateboarding. So now so you just have to do a space and then hashtag and then interaction. And then we'll log this one as you have to just click this little thing. We met about skateboarding. We had a skateboarding meeting. So now I've logged 2 interactions in my day on July 6th. Now let's say, dude, I can't think of this stuff on the fly to save my life. Thomas Jefferson. There we go. Beautiful. We talked about horses, and that was just another interaction. And this was a email. So now we have 3 logged interactions. So now we can go, okay, click into the interactions, say that I want to only see emails. So we'll filter by interaction type and email. Awesome. So now I just have like this nice little structured data table with all of my emails, with all of my logged email interactions. And that's just a filter, so we can clear that if we want to. Now we have all of our interactions back. They never disappeared. They were never lost, even though this is an alpha product, and who knows, maybe they could be someday. I would actually be paranoid about that. I am. I back up my database all the time, and you probably should too if you experiment with this, even though it's been really solid actually. In my experience lately, they made like a ton of improvements, and I'm really impressed and excited about it. That's why I'm making this video right now. But okay, so just to go back to the start, we have July 6th. We have these interactions. Click the interaction. We have this nice little table that logs all of the information, created at, updated at. It's associated to this page, the July 6th page. Every new day is a new page. Nice little cleansing of the palette. One of the cool things that you can do is create these little views. So say I just want a view of all my emails, my email interactions. So we made that new view, and then we'll just filter to email. So just like before, we still have the all view. And then if I click into the email view, and then let's say we make another view for meetings, and then just adjust the filter to meeting. And because I'm OCD, apparently we'll do one more view for calls, and then it'll filter by calls, interaction type, call. So we have all of them. We have emails, we have meetings, calls, and oh, looks like Jason Johnson just called me. Better log that. This is painful. You can clearly tell that I don't have many social interactions, so this is grasping at straws for me. We talked about trampolines or something, and the trampolines cost $500, and I want a blue trampoline. It's really cool that you can, like, I don't know, I'm a freaking nerd for this stuff. So all you have to do is tab in or shift tab to go out. Tab in, shift tab, shift tab, shift tab to go back out. A pretty common pattern, but most people probably aren't aware of it unless they do this stuff all day long. So we like going back to the top of the video, you can command up to expand and command down to, what is the word? Expand. We just logged another interaction with Jason Johnson, and that was a meeting. I'm just doing this to illustrate how these different views work. So now that we logged that new one, go back to the interactions, click into the meetings, and what do you know? There it is right there. Beautiful. One of my favorite features actually about logseq is this ability to, they have this little right sidebar that can pop out. And this can all feel like really overwhelming to begin with, but it's worth like spending a couple minutes to get familiar with it, or a couple decades if you're me. But really, simply, this little icon just means to pop this note right here out into the sidebar. And what's really cool is you can stack them. I mean, just naturally they stack, so we could open this one too. And now you have these 2 notes in the sidebar, not obscuring your view, but you can reference them. Logseq is great for just having a whole bunch of stuff open that you can reference. And again, it's like kind of structured data overload. You need extra caffeine and preferably other substances that are completely legal to be able to take it all in, at least while you're learning. But once you understand that this is just a sidebar and these are just individual notes that popped out from wherever you are in the left side, it's extremely powerful. So another, just for instance, we can go back to the journal. Notice the right sidebar thing stayed there. Say we want to, I don't know, so we have Jane Doe, we have Jason Johnson. Now, I don't know, say we want to see Timmy over here to compare something. Hold shift and then click on it. And now Timmy is right here. Oh, and I forgot you can actually expand and retract these cards over here too. So we got the Timmy card. Maybe I don't want to see that right now, but I still want it quickly within reference. If I want to, I can close it. I'm sure you can kind of see how powerful this stuff is, but we can close all of the sidebar too. All right, so we created a bunch of random interactions, and again, this is kind of what you want to make of it, how you want to structure your own day, or you can even build like daily templates that are preset for you, but that's just kind of like for insane people that actually know what they're doing in their lives and they kind of like know how they like their data structured, and I never do. So some people may set like a home template that, I don't know, phone calls, foreign concept for me, meeting notes. And this hashtag just means like the biggest headline possible. Double hashtag means second biggest headline, whatever. Big headline, big headline. And then just it's on from there. This is very lightweight markdown primer for anybody that has any interest at all anymore, while I am rambling on about my obsession with logseq. Anyways, smaller headline. So that's just another example of like the structured way of how you can just interact with the daily journal page or any page in logseq, actually, because really flexible. You can do these headline things, but back to the like structured day. So you could technically build a day that already has these headlines built into it if you know what you're doing with your life. If you know, like if you have a set schedule, like I take phone call notes every day, or I have a meeting at 12 o'clock every day, or normal people do. The point is you could build a daily template and set it. Hopefully that makes sense. What else? So let's say that we're a little bit, I don't know, OCD or something, and we want to show all of these interactions in a neatly organized fashion on July 6th. So we could do something like all of my interactions. And then you can go up, I'm just tapping with the arrow key, and then I'm holding shift up while holding shift. And then you can, I think you can just drag this entire thing and nest it. Yep, worked like a charm. So that's one way of doing that. I'll undo that. And then you could do like Command X, paste, note, all of the structured data pasted with it. It's just a beautiful, like, just gorgeous. I just love this app. I don't know why. So we did that. You can drag things. You can drag nodes under one another. You can cut them, paste them, do tricks on them, whatever you need to do with any of these nodes. What else can I show you? Oh, yes. I may fall on my face on this one, but so if you look at this particular thing, it is an interaction, right? But also we have a people, we have a person, and we can start to associate structured data with people. So let's click into Jason and let's call him a person. So we're going to tag him as a person. So now data architecture wise, Jason is a person. And just like we did with the interaction, you can click into the person tab and we could assign a property to the, what is this thing called? Property. Okay, whatever, dude. Somebody can correct my vocabulary, my logseq vocabulary, please. Somebody roast me, please. You can assign properties to whatever the hell this thing is. I think it's a tag, but I think it is like a structured data type of some sort. Maybe it's okay. So maybe you just assign properties to properties. Maybe that's the data architecture way of looking at it. So this is a tag and it's also a property. Whatever, dude. I don't know. Anyways, the point is this is a person as an entity. That person is assigned to Jason, or rather, Jason is a person. And we could say something like person age. We can build a new property called person age. And I don't know, well, that's a bad example. We'll do person birthday, because everybody loves birthdays, date, and then, okay, so we assigned a property to the person tag, and we'll say, I don't know, whatever, 19. Okay, let's see if we leave this and then come back to it. Sometimes yeah, there we go. So we got person birthday, July 22nd, 1993. Cool. So again, we can click into JSON, or you can click into the person thing and see a full list of all of the people, and you could assign them things like birthdays. Of course, this probably isn't the best thing if you want like alerts or something, not like I would ever see a calendar alert anyways, but the idea is that you can assign structured data to people. So let's go ahead and finish the rest of these. So we assign JSON a person tag. Let's call this person 2. Jane is also a person, allegedly. Timmy. Cool. So now we assigned the person tag to 4 people. So if we click into one of these people, you there's a couple little tricks you have to learn. If you hover over the title, you can see the tags assigned to it. So let's click into person. Oh, what do you know? We have all of the people that we assigned that tag to. Awesome. Another thing, you can drag around these attributes, which is nice, or properties, whatever the hell they're called. So we have Jason, Thomas Jefferson, Jane Doe, Timmy, and these are all people. These are all person tagged. So we could set all of their birthdays, 1770, whatever the hell, 1770. And again, I established that date, but this is like a logseq alpha issue. So if we refresh it, click back into it, go back out, it shows up eventually. Not great, but also pretty amazing for what it does. One thing I hate is when people just do all this demo crap and they never actually show you how to use, especially logseq. So I'm trying to think through how we can do more like practical examples. All right, let's do something real. So let's say, all right, so we got, yeah, this is a real example. So we got Timmy Jones. He's a person. He's my boss. So let's click into this person thing again. And we can do like, okay, that's the word I'm looking for. We can establish a relationship. Again, yeah, not exactly. Okay, so let's, so we're creating a property called relationship, and we could do, I don't know, we'll just do like free form text for now. We could do like we could add choices, but we'll just set it as a field for now, and we'll say he's the boss. Same issue as before. Go back. So now we have relationship boss. Okay, real example, call from Timmy, talk about paper company. And one thing that I love this tool for is just like, obviously, some people, well, I guess most people, most meetings are just like complete chaos, scattershot, like do this, do that. Oh, we also have to do this other thing. Most people do not think in structured form, especially not me, even when I'm using this tool. But the cool idea is that you can just like task 1. Okay, now this is like one of my favorite things about logseq that I loved from day 1. Even in the old version, you can assign tasks to things by just doing command and then enter, and then command enter again. It shows it in progress. Command enter again is complete. Command enter again just undoes the whole thing. You can imagine how useful that would be if somebody's just saying, do this thing. Okay, awesome. Command enter. Do this other thing. Awesome. Oh, now this is kind of like a somewhat related thing to the other thing. Somewhat related thing. Awesome. So now we have a bunch of tasks that we can then, again, the fastest way is just to do like command enter, enter. I feel like they kind of made it not as fast as it used to be for some reason. Well, I guess that's the same, but if you click on it, now you have to like select one of these options, which is nice. Like, it's cool. Most people probably like it. But so just click the circle. You can say doing, in review, done, canceled, whatever. But just like all the other tags that we built, these also have structured data. So if you click into this, we have all of our tasks that we can do. And they have all this structured metadata associated to them. And this is kind of like a first class tag that logseq ships with, I believe. So it has all these properties baked into it already, unless all the other ones did, and I just missed that too. But I think this is unique. So now imagine you actually have real tasks in here, and you're just going about your day. New thing to do: buy someone special something special. Go to the store and buy things: cookies, chocolate, flamin' hot fries. Nope, flamin' hot Cheetos, Pringles. There we go. So now all these are to-dos. Of course, there's different ways of organizing all this crap, and this is probably a terrible place for a shopping list. In fact, I know it is, because the logseq mobile apps are not solid right now when it comes to syncing with desktop. But just to prove the point, and here's where the sidebar comes in, you have this nice little recent item. You have tasks, and you could do, what am I trying to, right click on the name, add to favorites. Okay, cool. Now you have always have your tasks in the sidebar right here, which is just beautiful. And then you could do a new view, and that view could be done. And say we, just to keep it clean, let's say we're in the all view and we mark this done. So now we have we bought Pringles. Now we'll go to done, and then we have to filter this view by status, and then we'll go, we only want to see the done things in here, and there you go. So we have all, we have done, and then, oh, what would be the next logical thing to do? So we'll filter this view to status to do. So now we have, oh, dang, they don't let you, looks like you can't rearrange these. Oh well. So we have all, which is everything. We have done, the one we checked off, and we have to do, which is all the undone things. And let's say we buy hot Cheetos, done. There it is. Goes to it goes to the done view, and it's out of this view. Cookies, done. Leaves this view, goes into the done view, and all view has all of them, obviously. You could drag in the updated, or drag over the updated at date, and you could sort by that. So just like really nice. I like how they did this. It's kind of funny. What is the tool I'm thinking of? Yes, that's the app I was thinking of. Tana, good old Tana, which I had a very brief romance with. Tana is also an outliner, or was. I feel like they're actively completely destroying their own product. They like read this stupid meeting thing, whatever it is. I don't know. Respect to whatever they are doing. I really loved them for a while, but it looks like a mess. And they kind of deprioritized Tana outliner. Anyways, Tana, what was I even saying? Okay, Tana was like coming up over the last few years, and they had a lot of these different views, or they do have them. I don't know. It just kind of feels like Tana was copying logseq, and maybe a little bit the other way around. But I don't know. I think Tana got a little bit too big for their britches or something, and they just kind of seemed like they got a little bit of cash and stopped trying to work on the outliner, at least. I don't know. One of the best things they ever did, though, was like the mobile app, because one of the hardest things is getting ideas into a system like this. And logseq the app is actually really cool at this point. It's just the sync that is having an issue. But Tana was always better at data entry from mobile. You would open it up and it would have, do you want to record? Do you want to type a message? It was just like built for ingesting data. And it's so funny how no apps prioritize that at all. Like you have to open it up and then tap like two things just to take a note. Anyways, that is the one thing that I will give Tana. They did really well with the mobile app. Then I don't know, I stopped that subscription because I don't even remember. I sent them a whole bunch of feedback, but logseq is better. Anyways, the whole point is Tana had these little views, and it's kind of cool. It's just different ways of looking at the information. The card view is kind of useless as far as I can tell, or the gallery view, but you got the table view, you got the list view. Some of them are, I don't know, it gets a little bit overwhelming sometimes, so I usually keep the table view. But anyways, back to the ground sanity. We have our journal day. I was confused by that. Okay, okay, that's cool. So now you can see how the journal works. So today is July 6th, 2026. If you scroll down, we got July 22nd because that's when I apparently have Jason Johnson's birthday, and all the way back to July 1st, 1770, which is not Thomas Jefferson's birthday in real life, but that just kind of shows you every day from here forward would be 100% sequential. The only reason it's staggered like this 2026 to 1993 is because I assigned the birthdays. But that's the like the endless scrolling that I love, that you can just scroll back through your own journal and what was I up to the last 2 days, because that's really all that matters ever. So I'm glad that that happened, so you could see how this works. So you can like drill into the day, you could make more notes about the day, whatever. So back to July 6th, which is today. We've got all this random stuff. We can delete it. I have no meeting notes. We got our big headline. We got our kind of big headline. We talked about how you can expand and retract with command up and command down. Up collapses, down extract or expands. We'll delete that. Command A selects the whole block. Delete. All right, so we got our interactions. You can kind of see that there's sub bullets just by like visually how the bullet looks. It looks a little bit grayer. So command down expands again for the 4,000th time. Sorry, just trying to think what else I can show anybody. All right, so we can click into this graph view because everybody loves the visual. I've never once found use of this graph view other than like the wow factor. I don't think literally anybody ever has in the history of Obsidian or any other graph app. The visual is mildly entertaining and fun to see, but I don't know. I guess it could be useful for normal people or something. I think it's like a little bit, I think it is a little bit janky. I don't know if I probably just don't know how to use it. Probably won't ever learn how to use it, but kind of neat if you ever want to, I don't know, not get anything done and just look at your notes visually for some reason. But you can, I think you can click into them. Yeah, it's really rough. I wouldn't even attempt to use it even if it did work. But all this time we've been generating pages. So we have Timmy, Thomas Jefferson, all of the metadata associated with everybody. You could add different filtered views in here as well. So I don't know, say we want to just see all of the, maybe this is a better way of doing this. People, that's just the name, that's just the view name. So say I just want to show all of the persons, people. Again, we just created a new data, still exists everywhere. Yeah, I think I need to start doing it this way because it's more efficient. So this is all of the pages. You can filter. I just need to make this like my home base because I usually end up inventing a page and then building a view inside of it. But a lot of this can be done just from this pages or whatever they call it. And then I could filter, build new views, whatever I want to do, just to see information differently. Say that Timmy is our favorite person and we want to make sure that he's always top of mind. So we could add him as a favorite right here. So we could just easily click into him anytime we want. Shift click again. Oh, he's already open in this sidebar. So shift click opens in the sidebar. The sidebar, you have a lot of the same functionality. If you drill into things, apparently it opens over here, depending on what you're clicking on. Yeah, a lot of it is like just kind of getting used to like the visual, a little bit of visual chaos between like just learning how to be comfortable with the structured data, like the way that it looks inside of logseq, because it just, this can look intimidating to begin with until you start to deconstruct it. Like, why do I have these brackets around this thing? But then you realize it's really like structured data and it's useful and not just intimidating, and useful for like a regular person. I feel like these tools seem inaccessible to a lot of people, but just because for whatever reason they kind of seem like development tools or whatever. But this is like a tool that I would show my mom, hi mom, that she could use if she wanted to for like actually taking notes. And I wouldn't recommend it because again, this is an app that is, I realize the contradiction in what I'm saying here, but this is like an alpha app, meaning that it's not fully cooked, meaning that it will probably break in like 3 days and I'll lose all my notes for the last 2 weeks I've been using it. But yeah, so I wouldn't, you have to be adventurous to use a tool like this is what I'm saying. But if you get over that threshold and you are the adventurous type and you want to experiment with taking notes with a bullet editor like this, logseq is like good to the logseq, good on the logseq team. They get a bad rap for being slow as molasses from people like me. Like I donated to them a long time ago. I was like a subscriber, and then I canceled, and then I enjoyed I've enjoyed my fair amount of talking a little bit of smack in comment sections, etc. But I feel like their development team is like slow and steady. Like I thought they were down and out, and then I tried I tried like this nightly build a few weeks ago, and I'm like, dang, dude, this is almost like prime time cooked, ready to go. And even the Android app, and I don't know, maybe the iOS app too, but the Android app is like actually gorgeous, and I love it. Of course, it has a few rough edges, and the fact that it doesn't actually work because the sync between my desktop and the Android app does not work reliably. Like you have to, whatever, I won't get into it, but it will work temporarily, but it's definitely not production ready. But anyways, like this app that I'm showing you right now, gorgeous. The Android app, surprisingly gorgeous, like major progress. And I got like really excited about it apparently, but I can't wait till, and I'm actually really surprised. I thought, oh, that's too bad. logseq was like the best app in the entire note-taking universe, and then now their development team like gave up on life like everybody else. But no, apparently they're still chugging along, and great job to the logseq team. I love this tool. It's like seriously a useful tool. And I will tell you one thing, the only reason it doesn't get 1,000 YouTube videos every 5 minutes about it is because they don't have some stupid affiliate program where all of these creators get like $50 if you sign up for their stupid note taking app. Oh, just use my affiliate link and sign up for Obsidian. I actually don't even know if Obsidian has an affiliate link. They probably do. I'm sure they do. But like every single, oh, the 2026 best 10 note taking apps of the universe, just give us $99 a month for a really subpar note taking experience. But we're going to have every influencer on the planet talking about it. So go ahead and pay us for it. Whereas logseq is like this beautiful, extremely minimal, like no frills, but foundationally amazing app and product that nobody's talking about because nobody's getting paid to talk about it. And so that's why I'm here, because I love to do things for free, and I feel terrible when I get paid to do things and awkward. So logseq, if you need I don't know, an unpaid fanboy, here I am. Anyways, all right. And I just looked at my old graph, or not my old graph, one of my other logseq graphs, and we like haven't even scratched the surface because I've been whining about Obsidian for however long this video is right now. But let's just get into some of the other really cool features about this tool. Let's just say coding notes. Come on. Okay. So we have a nice little headline called coding notes. Let's say we want to be special and make it pink. So we have our coding notes section that's pink, whatever, not gorgeous. I'm sure it could be. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Moving on. So we have our coding notes, and then we'll say something that Claude told me because I don't think for myself anymore. And then we'll indent from there. And then this really cool thing, which is amazing, which is like one of the, obviously the core features, is you do this backslash and then just start typing code. Boom. Awesome. Paste your code in there. You got your nice little code block. You can choose the language if you want. Okay, that's cool. Apparently that's a language. All right. Let's just do markdown if I ever do it. Oh, apparently the clock just struck midnight. So you're seeing this live in real time. We got a new day on the calendar, folks. July 7th. What do you know? Let's move our coding notes to July 7th. Amazing. I think you see that. It's just amazing. All right. So July 7th, we got our coding notes. It just turned midnight. Let's do something. So we got Claude code. Claude. Let's now make this a page. So we'll highlight it and just tap the double bracket. And then all I did was tap the left bracket twice. That automatically popped up. Enter. Cool. Now we have a page called Claude Code. Amazing. And we'll click into that. Of course, we could start taking notes right here. Never really do, but you can click into it, and one of the features just never end. I don't know. I'm on one apparently because this is just like it's more gorgeous every time I look at it. So we just clicked into Claude Code. You can just think of this as like a normal page. You'd come in here and take notes anytime, and take notes anytime. Some sub note, whatever. But sorry, I got sidetracked there. The really cool thing is it has these linked references. So automatically, anytime you mention it, it shows up here without any effort. I don't know, something else about, and then double bracket Claude pops up, enter. Cool. Now we'll click back into it. What do you know? Another reference, another automatic linked reference. Everything, like the interlinking is just amazing in this app. So we'll click back to July 7th, and here we are again. And let's say we're doing something, I don't know, really intense, and we want to have it up on the right side while we're thinking or sketching out an idea or something in this main view. Again, I really despise when people do like all this stupid demo content, but so let's do something real. Claude Code first time setup. I don't know. Let's just say that I want to set up. Oh, they got all fancy. Now it's the advanced Claude Code setup. All right. Say we want to install Claude Code on the Mac, and I don't want to, every time I have to do it, I have to come back here and search for it. You can see I just went through 2 different searches till I found it. So say I just want to like store that always. Anytime I think about Claude Code, I just have a page called Claude Code. And then I come in here, I have Claude Code first time setup, and then install on Mac. And then I'll do /code block, paste. Oh, what do you know? So now we have this forever. We just made our first little note under Claude Code first time setup, and I'll just do like you can highlight it and do Command B, that bolds it. So we got our nice little headline. Anytime I come into Claude Code, anytime I come into this page about Claude Code, now I have first time setup. Cool. Now I can expand that. Oh, now I just run this in my terminal and I got Claude Code. Awesome. Now I don't have to think about it. Now I don't have to Google Claude Code anymore. Claude Code's install, whatever. The command is just right there. Stupid, simple example, but awesome in its simplicity. Now let's say skills that I love. The top skills. Yeah, sure. LinkedIn. That's exactly where I want to go for my Claude Code skill recommendations. Yes, superpowers. Just download the whole Claude Code skill universe, front end design, whatever. That's just baked in at this point. Skill creator. I don't know. Sure. Skill creator. Now let's do something more practical. What's his name? Okay, let's say we like some certain Claude Code influencers. Matt Pocock, I think is his name. So let's go find good old Matt. Whatever, dude. Okay, wait, that's his GIF. Apparently now he has 400 different websites. Nope, not him. Okay, there it is, aihero.dev. So just for fun, let's say this is Matt Hero Dev. You can just highlight things in logseq and paste Command V. That pasted the link, automatically linked that text. Just beautiful. I mean, nothing earth shattering, but amazing. And I freaking love it. So we got his blog, we got his highlight it, paste. So now anytime, so we started to build a little Claude Code archive. Let's say we want to add it to our favorites. So anytime we think about Claude Code, we don't have to think very hard. We just have it in our favorites right here. Click on it. Cool. We got our first time setup, and we got some influencers that we can immediately go to. And it's really funny. Like, why would I ever do this? I could just, I don't know, Google it, or I could ask my agent to find it. But part of it is the learning process. Like, nothing beats manually doing this stuff. It's why writing things down is so much better than typing, and why typing is so much better than having an agent do everything for you. But the point is, you now have a page that you built yourself. Sure, you could have your agent build it still, even in logseq, but you, in theory, have a better understanding of what exists in your own brain, even if it is in logseq. So we could come here, aihero.dev. Another thing that would be useful is like just I don't know. A lot of the time on the internet, when you're following these people, they share like actually really good resources. And I think he has like some Claude.md templates that are good, but I can't find them right now. But anyways, let's just pretend that this Claude.md is the one that we want to always reference or something when we're setting up a project. So I copied it, copy, go back into logseq, and we'll say MD that works great for every single use case in the world, no matter the tech stack. Sounds wonderful. We'll do another code block, paste it. There we go. So now anytime you need it, just come in here, copy it, good to go. One thing that drives me crazy about these code blocks is that it doesn't wrap, but there is just a simple CSS something or other that you add to the configuration. I don't know how. I just always tell my agent to do it. But you just like come into, I don't even know, wherever it is, there's a configuration file. It's just like a really simple CSS edit. Actually, I had to go back and forth a couple times because it like breaks the cursor placement, but I figured it out at one point. Not me. But anyways, like if you're watching this and you hate the fact that the code block doesn't wrap and that it just extends into infinity, which is ridiculous, and they need to fix that, you can just customize the code and get it to wrap automatically, and then it's amazing. Then it's like, oh man, you know my feelings about logseq at this point. But so we got that. And another thing you can think, another really cool thing is you can click these lines and it just automatically, like it expands everything associated with it or contracts everything associated with it. You can just play around with that. Expand, contract, whatever. This, italicize that. I wonder if we can do both. Yep, bold and italics. Cool. Yeah, really, this is the first, I don't know. It's like the first note-taking system that has ever made sense to me and continues to make sense to me. And the fact that they're just making it better makes me happy. I need to restart my subscription because I will be really annoyed if after all this progress, they just sell out like everybody else does. And I would love to see this continue to be like an open source project that just crushes it. Recently, I even tried Silver Bullet in a moment of desperation before I got back into logseq, and respect to the Silver Bullet creator. Seems like a cool dude. Really good project, but I like logseq is more polished on most fronts. I mean, I think he's even more geared at developers than logseq is. I don't know, maybe I can do a video some other day comparing the two, but logseq has just a lot more polish even in its alpha state that keeps me away from the Silver Bullet instance that I spent an entire Saturday setting up on my Synology. Lots more backslash commands. You can embed nodes, which is really kind of cool. Let's say we want to embed Timmy. You can do that. Really useful because it's just like you can call in data at any point. You're not having to like, oh, let me go back to the Timmy page and figure out how to like copy paste his information into the note that I'm working on right now. No, let's say you're like actively in a intense note taking session and all of a sudden you're talking about things and then somebody starts talking about Timmy and you think, oh, who's Timmy? Oh, Timmy is, I just embedded him. Now oh well, that shifted a little bit. That looks like an alpha, a little bit of an alpha issue. The page is like, oh, okay. I think it's expanding both of the Timmys. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyways, the point is you can call up information anytime you want by embedding it. And the fact that it's embedded here, you can actually update the information. Maybe the relationship to Timmy is he is now my best friend's brother. I don't know. And that actually, oh, okay. So I can click into it like that. So okay, so if you embed, you can click into this little arrow and it takes you to his page. But the point is, I just referenced Timmy and all of his structured data is right here, and I can actually edit that data. So it's like it's live data, and then it doesn't just update it right here, it updates it also on his actual card. So really, like it's a really dynamic way of thinking about note taking, intense until you get the hang of it. Even when you do get the hang of it, a little bit intense, like right here. apparently it's showing both of those references that I just made. That's fine. If you collapse it, it makes logical sense. Like if you talked about the person, it should show up in the linked references, and it does. I think I was just intimidated because it had them expanded. Anyways, that is a node reference. All the other people that do these logseq tutorials are like very well spoken and highly, I don't know, thoughtful about how they present these things. What's that guy? Meandering Mind or whatever. I don't remember what his name is. I like that dude. Dude, what's his name? This guy. Did you change your name again, bro? Come on. Yeah, you did. You did. You changed your name again. Maybe? No? Who are you, dude? Trying to give you credit here, and you keep disappearing. Did you throw it all away? Where are you at, Julius? Or I will find you. What is your name? Oh, like originally it was like combining minds or something. What do you, what? Okay, so did you settle on combining minds? All right, whatever. This dude, I like him. He was like the first tutorial guy that I watched on this topic. I don't think he really digs this version of logseq, but it's been 4 months since he looked at it. Sounds like whatever your name is, I like your stuff. You were the first person that got me into it. Your tutorials are a lot more structured and better than mine, so hopefully you're selling courses and stuff. Anyways, combining minds, a good YouTube tutorial guy for logseq and other productivity tools. What else? Oh, apparently, okay, so node embed is what I did earlier, whereas node reference is just the standard double bracket thing that I showed you. So we got node reference, that's the double bracket thing. Node embed, it actually embeds the node. I mean, who would have thought with a name like that? You can add images. You can do a lot of cool things. The code block is one of my favorite things just because it's so easy to build yourself a little archive of copy paste code, because who knows who has any clue how to code these days? Not me. We got our headings. We got all these task statuses like we already talked about. One cool thing is all of these like time and date automatic insertion things. So we could just do today, tomorrow. I think we do date picker. Yeah, dude, this is just, it's just like really solid. I'm impressed. So we'll just do May 1st, 2026. That should show up now in the little journal. Yep, there it is. Just because I referenced it. Oh yeah, you can, let's just demonstrate this really quickly. Let's embed one of this guy's videos. This is actually one of the really cool use cases for logseq. Whatever, dude. So let's say video notes for studying. I don't know, whatever people do. Combining minds video. And then we'll do, you actually, oh, that's cool. You can do a timestamp. You can just directly paste the video in and automatically loads it. Really cool. So you could start watching it right in here. And then let's say notes on video, and then do a bullet in, some notes, ideas, whatever. But it's just that alone is like amazing. What other tool lets you do that? I don't know. Not many, and not well. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. Let's see. Can you embed a video in Obsidian just to have it work? No. You can click it. Oh wait, I'm sure there's some community plugin that lets you. I'm sure. Come at me, Obsidian community. But yeah, you want to drop a video inside of Obsidian and start taking notes on it instantly? No. Nope. No note taking. Oh, and sorry, I forgot. I need to like properly title this thing. Oh, and then wait, I'm still not done because I need to throw it into my heaping trash pile. Oh, it's exciting. Apparently I have some random things there. Oh yeah, my original notes for this video. Okay, yeah, now so, yep, we have our little note that's completely useless in Obsidian. Thank you, Obsidian. Close that. Back to logseq. We have our video notes for studying. Drill into it. Okay, cool. We have this video. Got all my notes on it. And just apply the concepts of structured data that I showed you earlier about like how you can assign a people tag. You could do the same thing for notes. I don't know, say you're studying biology or something. This could be, you could tag it biology note or notes, and then you would have something in your sidebar with all of your biology notes. So just really cool stuff. you could do biology 101 notes. I don't even know why I'm talking about this because I am not a fan of formal education. But so we make a biology 101 notes page. Cool. Now you could, this is a new concept that I'll show you. You can do a query and now you can filter by certain things. So again, like I was just saying, you could have a tag called biology notes and filter by it, and every biology note that you tagged would show up in here. Okay, now I have to do it. Something about life forms that's really important. And then we'll call it biology notes. Cool. So we got a tag of biology notes, but now, so we have this tag, which is probably sufficient, but I'm just demonstrating what you could do here. See biology notes, but then we have this biology 101 notes page that we just made. So that's kind of the difference between the tag and the page. The page is more, just think of like a notebook, but now we have this. I'll just do it again. So we're on the biology 101 notes page. So let's build a query, and that's just a fancy way of saying a filter, and we'll call it, or we'll filter by tags, and then we'll search for biology notes, and then, oh, what do you know? There's our notes. And to click out of that, and then you can name it raw notes from the class. So that's just the title of this little query thing. So yeah, I guess one of the main things again is just like the getting a hold of the chaos of this. Obviously, I've just vomited all over this page, so it's really not pretty to look at by any means, but you can just do quick cleanup. Like, it's stressing me out to just look at it like this, but you could drag things around, make it more decent to look, to digest, so you don't have a stroke every time you look at it. I don't know. Yeah, that's logseq, and you should check it out and consider donating, and maybe I will too again. But yeah, I think this is how you get it. You just come into here, the nightly release for adventurous people. I think it's this one. I don't know, dude. I have to look this up all the time. Yeah, if you're on a Mac, I'm pretty sure it's this one. Just click it, download it, and then install it just like any other regular Mac OS app, and then you're off to the races. You'll need to set up your graph database. I think it just starts with one called demo, but you're going to want to, I don't know, dude, whatever. Just run with demo. I've been using the one called demo for 2 weeks. It works fine. Don't overthink it like I always do. I literally over everything, just like what I'm saying right now. But anyways, one of the first things you're going to want to do that I meant to show you earlier, like 4 hours ago when I started this video, is logseq does have plugins. I keep it really lightweight. Obsidian has 10 billion that you install just to even get started. You can use logseq basically fully featured without any plugins, but there are a couple that kind of make life nicer if you want. I don't know, sometimes I just leave them all disabled. But so bullet threading is one that I install. I'll just show you kind of what that does. We'll just enable it. It just adds, what does it even do? That's what it does. Okay. It just adds like a nice little visual. I think it needs to be fine tuned a little bit, but like thickens or adds like these little attachments so you can kind of see where you're at a little bit better when you start nesting and getting deeper. It's just a nice little visual indicator. It's called bullet threading. I could have just clicked on that, shown you in half a second. The journal's calendar is cool. It just shows this little thing right here so you can see which days you actually did things on and quickly navigate between them if you need to. Again, I really just like the simplicity of the home. It's just scrolling down, but it is kind of nice sometimes to be able to see the calendar view, see when you wrote things, just to hop around quicker. Disable that. You can just see how easy it is to turn them on and off. And then we got tabs. I do actually like that. So you can, I think you hold command to open up a new tab is what it is looking like. Move them around. Say we want Claude Code open, Matt Pocock. Yeah, so hold command, it looks like. Command opens a new tab, shift opens it in the right sidebar. We're getting a little bit over our skis a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, tabs are nice when you need them. Obviously, just keep it simple to begin with. And what else? Tags is just like it just like organizes, shows you all the tags. You can sort them easily, click through them. I don't even know. Maybe this isn't even useful. It seems like it's kind of broken or something. Yeah, maybe this one doesn't even work. Nice idea though. Yeah, don't get that one. I think it worked in the old version, not this one. But what else? Sure, there's some themes and whatever. I don't know. I played with a few of them. Most of them I really, if you can't tell by me restating this for the 8,000th time, I just like the simplicity of logseq. And I don't really like bloating it with any of these other themes or plugins very much if I don't need to. And again, sometimes I'll like toggle them on and off as I want. All right, let me show you one other thing and then I'll go to bed or something. You can drag photos and media into logseq. So we'll attempt to do that right here. I think it may have issues. Oh, there we go. Looks like you can do some resizing. That's cool. Nice little touch. But as with so many things, it usually comes back to this chart in one way or another. The good old IQ bell curve that's probably inaccurate because it's AI generated anyways, but you've got the individual over here. Just use the note-taking app that works. And then this is where I usually spend most of my time, thinking that I need the perfect note-taking app, more in this general region. But then you got like the really smart people that are just saying the same thing, like just use the freaking note-taking app that works. So if logseq ends up working for you, excellent. If not, just keep using what works. Use your little notebook that you draw in with a pen and leave logseq to the, I don't even know what I am at this point, the note-taking tourist. That feels right. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this on some level as much as I did talking about it. Because what else would one do at almost 1 a.m. than talk about their passion for a note-taking app? Good night, everyone. All right, if you're still watching this, I figured that I'll give you something extra since I promised it at the beginning. I hate when people just make these YouTube tutorials and they just showed them putting demo nonsense content into the app. So I want to show you some real world shit that I would do with logseq. So the idea is to go from some books that I have here in the house. I've been meaning to like go through all of my marketing books with direct response copy in them and feed them to AI somehow. So this is a demonstration of how I would do that. So we're going to go from some books that I have on marketing, copywriting, direct response copywriting, propaganda, mass influence, stuff like that, to extracting it and then running some analysis on it and turning that into a full-fledged marketing campaign for 3 random industries. So let's get started. Why not make another hour video on top of what I already did? So let's expand this. This is kind of going to be like a logseq hands-on demo, real world. So I'll probably talk through some of the commands again. So again, we have the good old expand, collapse situation, command down, command up. So let's get into this little abstract thing. One of the things that used to drive me insane is when people would say coding is solved with AI, like within the last year or so, because I saw that the extreme capability was there and how amazing it was. But at the same time, there was still, and I'm not a developer, just to be clear, but it wasn't like you just say what you want and it magically happens. That, for the most part, is actually how it is now with some of the latest models like Fable and Codex 5.6. That is basically the truth. So coding is, I know the coding bros don't agree still, the people that actually know what they're doing, but for the most part, for people like me and probably you that just say, hey, build this really cool website or landing page or whatever for me, it can usually do it pretty well. So we'll just say that is actually true. Command enter. I'm just pretending like that's a task. But one of the things that I continue to struggle with repeatedly with working with AI models every single day for the past 3 years of my life, because I do nothing else literally for the most part, is one of the things that it's just a clear pattern, is that they suck at copywriting. Even when they seem to be good, and I'm hard to please in general, but especially with copywriting because I enjoy writing. I won't say that I'm great at it, but I can appreciate good copywriting. But most of the time it sucks. Anything from landing pages to stories to marketing campaign headlines, social media posts, everything like that. It's either too polished or too obviously forced human, like all lowercase. Even I feel like I can tell when people are getting clever with it. Make this lowercase, add a mistake here and there. Make me sound human, please. And maybe I can't, but I still feel like I can tell when something is AI written. For the most part, it's getting better. In another 6 months or 3 months, this will probably be completely solved. But just to point out, my pain point right now with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is like, how do you get good copy at scale that actually sounds human, like across multiple websites, landing pages? How do you have a consistent voice that isn't just corporate nonsense? It actually resonates. It's enjoyable to read on some level, even if it is marketing copy. So this, in my opinion, is not solved. So that's what we're going to try to address in this video a little bit. And some terrible examples of terrible LLM AI generated copy. Climate change isn't about blame. It's about better choices. Like a lot of it is just patterns that are completely obvious at this point. It's not this, it's that. You didn't waste 10 years. You gathered data. Yeah, just completely tone deaf garbage. Authenticity means showing up as yourself within brand guidelines. Like, you got to love that when it tries to compare two completely unrelated things. But yeah, just to underscore how LLM generated copywriting sucks for the most part today without additional prompting, just like the bare metal copywriting. So we're going to use AI to extract some insights from the books that I mentioned, from some kick-ass books on psychology and persuasion. So let's expand this bullet, contract that one. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, take a photo of my books. So I took this morning, a nice little collection of marketing books. That actually turned out nicer than I thought it would. Whatever, we got some Seth Godin in there, Kennedy, good old Bernays, Propaganda, Ultimate Sales Letter, Claude Hopkins, Scientific Advertising, Tested Advertising Methods, all the really cliche copywriting books that everybody in the marketing industry tells you to read and study, and rightly for the most part. You can read all this stuff, and then whether you remember it or not, even if you're archiving it, even if you're taking notes, whatever, we're human. We can't remember all this crap. It can ultimately inform how we approach things on a subconscious level, but at least for me, it's really hard to recall all of the techniques and stuff in all of these books. So we got our books, and then now we're going to run the analysis on them. So I kind of pre-built some of the stuff. So we got our core prompt, and just when you're working with AI, it's always best to just like start with something that you write exhaustively yourself. So like I literally wrote this entire thing this morning, which is why I thought it would take 5 minutes to do this video, but here I am like on hour 8. But this copywriting isn't what took the longest, but the point is, write your own starting prompt. Even if you feed it back into the LLM and say, hey, make this better, you're still the human. You have to drive the direction originally, or you're just going to keep recycling AI trash if you're not at least being deliberate about how you start the thing. So let's just go through this really quickly. I don't care if you listen or skip ahead or do whatever the hell you want, but just for my own enjoyment, we're going to start it with, so basically we're going to copy paste this into Codex, the new model 5.6 Soul, but we're going to paste that photo of my books, and then We're going to paste the output guidelines, which are really long, and it just attaches them by default. That's the only reason I had to do this. But some of this technical structure and stuff is good to know if you're interested at all. So I'm just going to read through it. The attached output guidelines contains the final output instructions, so read everything below first. I want it to read and follow these instructions before that. I don't know, maybe that's not necessary anymore, but probably not. Anyways, analyze attachment 1, which is the image of the books. Extract both the title and the author from each book in the image, then list them clearly. Use these books as the basis for the rest of this task. After you have the list, research each book and author online using WebFetch and whatever other tools you have access to. Our goal is to extract and distill direct response and conversion optimized copywriting lessons for weaponized, metaphorically speaking, as Cialdini's first chapter called Weapons of Influence says, influence operations. These lessons and the information you compile will be used by future copywriting agents in applications such as landing page, headlines, subheadlines, benefit-driven body copy, ad copy, social media posts, TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, and all other modern media platforms. Ignore any non-relevant details like author bio or bestseller list accolades, and even peanut gallery regurgitated influencer commentary and articles. Articles and videos such as top 10 copywriting lessons from Dan Kennedy and the like are to be ignored. Direct source is the lock-in standard. Focus on the literal content of each individual book. Take time to think and understand the lessons, principles, tactics, and literal verbatim examples we can extract from each. At this point, you will have an understanding of each book. Find the next top 5 books that are used, especially in the underworld of influence, to inform major psychological influence operations, both in the online and offline world. Each book must have a proven track record and major evidence of practical, provable use in influence operations, especially if the success is not, okay, yeah, I definitely wrote this, published in major outlets. This is often a signifier of a true killer canon of knowledge. Just as magicians don't describe the secrets behind their magic, major influence operators and operations are executed using secret, even if seemingly banal, I looked that one up, tactics and strategies applied consistently. We seek to find these tips, tricks, secrets, and levers to employ ethically in our digital advertising operations, but only to help people become aware of our services or products so that we can improve lives of both our customers and our employees by making more money and expanding our influence further to help even more people. Spoken like a true former capitalist. Important, do not favor bestseller lists. Your task is to find the diamonds in the rough that existed even in some cases before the New York Times and other so-called bestseller lists. Note, secret influence claims are often unverifiable, but secret influence and psychological behavior modification is influence in practice. When this more insidious type of influence is brought to light, the lessons are often the most important of all, even when uncomfortable or sometimes tragic. See critical note on morality below. Once you have the final canon of books listed by title and author, and you have a full and complete understanding of each, including literal quotes that demonstrate copywriting expertise and masterful influence, respond using the output guidelines below. So that is the core prompt that we are employing here. And yes, I wrote that and I'm proud of it, okay? And it drives me insane that nowadays everything we do is just assumed to have been LLM written. I don't know. Maybe people think it sucks. I don't really care. I like it. I was happy with it. But the point is, we're still humans. We have to, I don't know, influence these things, at least still for the time being. So that's our core prompt. This is the morality and influence note. And I actually had Claude write this based on my instruction because I wanted to find some real world examples of like propaganda influence operations that have proven to have been conspiracy adjacent, because I like that type of stuff. Let's just read this real quick. Critical note on morality. The mechanism of influence is and must be treated as morally neutral. Only the intent behind it is good or evil, and many of the same levers that powered history's darkest campaigns can and do power most honest offers now and historically. The Tuskegee study held 600 men across 40 years, in part with a letter headed Last Chance for Special Free Treatment. Scarcity, exclusivity, and free in 6 words. Listerine grew from $115,000 to more than $8 million in 7 years by taking an obscure medical word, halitosis, and reframing everyday bad breath as an embarrassing condition. Some really interesting marketing stuff. In a single line, often a bridesmaid but never a bride, Bernays staged cigarettes as torches of freedom in the 1929 Easter Parade, selling a product as an identity, part of a shift that took women from 5% of cigarette buyers to 12% by decade's end. De Beers helped make the diamond engagement ring a tradition with 4 words: a diamond is forever. The tobacco industry ran a frank statement to cigarette smokers across 448 newspapers in 1954, disarming a lethal truth by vowing that people's health was paramount to every other consideration in our business. A doubt campaign that held off regulation for decades before a federal court ruled it racketeering. The lesson for our purposes is never the cruelty or the greed. It is that the mechanism worked. And I'm telling the model, okay, now read the output guidelines. So we're going to construct it as the core prompt first, the morality and influence second, and then the output guidelines. And when I say this, I'm just basically copy pasting it in order into the model. So I went through a few iterations. This was my really terrible first output guide. And then, of course, I went through a couple more and ultimately landed on this one, which tells the model how we want it to respond, what we're actually asking for it to put out based on the previous instructions. Plus, and this is what took forever today, I had it write a little whatever it did to not only output the information, but to output it into logseq in a page that we can navigate like we're navigating through this right now. So yeah, I won't read through this whole thing, but I'll just demonstrate how we load it into the model. And this is just a little logseq advanced query that basically concatenated the core prompt, morality and influence, and output guidelines so that I could read it all as one, just so I could like spot check in order without having to copy paste everything and lose my mind. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll get the core prompt, copy, go into, we're in Codex. I highly recommend it, even for people that have no clue what they're doing, including myself. But it's extremely easy to use. Download the app, sign up, give them $20 a month, and it's the most valuable tool on the market right now, probably just for beginners, people that have no clue what AI is or how to use it. Okay, so this is the window. Just think of it like ChatGPT, and I'm actually going to put this on whatever, Medium. So we got our core prompt, copy, paste, got the morality and influence prompt, paste, and we got our output guidelines. And I'm actually going to paste that second. I'm going to drop the image in there first. Okay, so logically it makes sense, right? So we got our attachment 1, photo of books, attachment 2, output guidelines, and then we tell it read everything below first, and then we'll just say, okay, go, send. And I actually ran this already earlier, so what we're going to do is just skip to the output that it gives us. All right, so we did this whole prompting extraction situation. We took our photo, and now I will show you what it actually came up with, and I'll just drop it there. Okay, so this is what it gives us when I run that prompt. I had some fun with the title that I wanted it to use. Direct response copywriting for agents trained on the entire internet and somehow still writing corporate bullshit. Principles, tactics, and real-world examples that beat the boring, literally robotic dog shit out of your copy and replace it with masterful, engaging, conversion-optimized, ass-kicking, pull out your wallet, copy for landing pages, ads, emails, videos, and whatever the hell else you're writing next. See, that's another thing that I'm proud of. I give myself a pat on the back for most of that. So let's get into actually what it output based on the photo. So again, this was the photo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now let's go back into the output. Cool. So these are the books that are extracted. Let's do a count. And with logseq, you can do this. Just right click, select all of them, right click. And you have to be like particular about where you're dragging. You can't, if you click on a node and drag it, it will move the node. But if you click to the side of it, whatever, you get it. So we highlighted all of them, and let's toggle number list. So 14, I think that's what I said from the image that I copied or that I counted. And then the 5 additional books that I asked it to like research and find out or add in addition to the 14 are these. So let's toggle the number list here. So yep, we got 5. Cool. So breakthrough advertising, public opinion, the crowd, psychological warfare, the true believer. I think breakthrough advertising is the only one I heard out of that list, or I've heard of out of that list. All right. So pretty amazing, right? From an image, it not only, I guess it's not, whatever, you get it. AI can figure out what books are. Yay, exciting. But it's not just that. It built a page about each of them, did all of the research, and specifically in the framework that I wanted it to. So I basically wanted the title extracted, the author, a summary of it, and not just a summary, but the output prompt was geared at educating agents. So it's not that this is necessarily for my use. It's so that I can point these LLMs, codex, Claude, whatever, to this canon of information, and they will immediately understand how to use it. So what this book teaches agents to do: locate an existing group with a shared worldview, articulate its change, challenge its status quo, tighten member-to-member connection, and write as a committed leader rather than a mass broadcaster. Sure, that's whatever. So some of the and then I asked it to extract principles from it and try, and as far as it could, give like a actual example verbatim from the copy of the book, and then also like a example or something, like just to give more insight into how it could be used. So okay, and then yeah, I had it do like this anti-slop thing, because often even when you give it the instructions about what you want, the agents will get lazy and just like gloss over it. But if you add some anti-advice, hey, a lot of agents do this thing, don't do that. So what the sloppy agent does: uses community vocabulary around one-way promotion, why it fails, members cannot connect or act together, better standards, specify the shared belief, member benefit, and member-to-member behavior. This book is not exactly the one I should have led with on this particular walkthrough, but whatever. Durable takeaways: remember, the community exists before the campaign. Ask before writing, what do these people believe and what change are they ready to make together? This is golden stuff actually, because a lot of the time the agents just don't understand the context. You'll tell it like, hey, write me this landing page for XYZ thing, and they'll give you like a technical explanation and present it as consumer facing copywriting. So that's just a repeated pattern. So ask before writing, what do these people believe? It would force the agent to actually think about that before it starts writing the copy for whatever you're telling it to write. So these seem kind of small and stupid, but they're actually really powerful in practice. So this was Tribes by Seth Godin, information extraction. Let's see what Rules for Radicals shows us. Alinsky treats power as organized relationships and tactics as pressure designed around the opponent's constraints. For copywriters, the useful machinery is issue selection, polarization, ridicule, participation, pressure, continuity, and converting diffuse frustration into one specific demand. I like it. What this book teaches agents to do: map power, choose winnable issues, work inside participants' experience, force a clear decision, sustain pressure, use humor, and turn action into ownership. Core framework: power is what people believe you have. Love it, dude. This is really good stuff. I remember reading this book and I loved it all, even though it was dedicated to Satan, which just I'm still offended by to this day. But lots of really interesting, it was just like a really interesting view of the world. Evidence and examples: Alinsky distinguishes actual resources from the opponent's estimate of them. Distinguishes actual resources from the opponent's estimate of them. That one is not landing for me. Stay inside the audience's experience. People act through concepts, language, and actions they understand. One of Alinsky's tactical rules warns that actions outside people's experience create confusion and retreat. Yeah. Love this stuff. And yeah, it's hard to imagine this being much better even if you fed it like the literal book itself. A really successful information extraction and canonization of all of this stuff. Let's see, Codex just finished the latest run of this. So I'll just open it so you can see. So this is exactly what we were just going through, but a new spin on it from a new agent, effectively the same output. So we got this, we got the canon, and then these are just, I think, just links to the same stuff. So let's go to scientific advertising. And I really love it included some primary sources. Everybody thinks I'm a robot. Can't imagine why. How advertising laws are established. Okay, so this is actually in the Library of Congress, huh? Interesting. Crazy. Cool. So yeah, I didn't even tell it to do this. It just went and got primary sources. What else? Principle of salesmanship in print. The ad must do what a competent salesperson would do at scale. How it works: reader service, clarity, proof, and an ask, replace literary display. Evidence and examples. Advertising is salesmanship. Test campaigns and keyed response. Small tests settle questions before large spend. Codes, coupons, channels, and controlled variants reveal cost and response. Specificity and reason why. Exact claims and explanations carry more weight than superlatives. Yes. The sample is free and the buying frame. The sample should demonstrate value and preserve the product's worth. Trial reduces uncertainty. The surrounding reason and qualification prevent free from cheapening the offer. Yes, great stuff. So now that we have all of this, whatever you want to call it, the output, the direct response copywriting canon for agents trained on the entire internet and somehow still writing corporate bullshit. Now that we've got that, we can point our agents at it when we have any copywriting task that we need to accomplish. And depending on how much experience you have with LLMs at this point, AI models, whatever we're calling it these days, you realize how critical examples are. Like you can beg it all day long in your regular human voice, like do this, do that. But the output examples that you give it, or the do it like this examples, are golden. So this is going to be worth its weight in gold for myself and for any project that I direct it at. So let's give it a real world use case beyond what we just created. So I went through a couple iterations with this. So just to be clear, I did not write this prompt. That would be insane. It's once you write the original prompt and you have it started off on the right foot in the direction that you need it to go, then you can start copy pasting like a crazy person into the LLM and asking for it to iterate on prompts for you. But if you're not watching that initial trajectory, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. Believe me, I've done it a billion times. So the more real you can be with it early on, the better results you're going to get. Anyways, so I basically told it, hey, I have this direct response output, a copywriting canon. What's going to be the best way that I can showcase what an LLM can do with it based on me just pointing the agent at the copywriting for agents instructions that we just created. I just want to point them to this logseq block and tell them to go crazy with it, more or less. Plus this prompt, like that's what I told it originally, and then it generated this prompt for me. And this is the critical part. Your source canon begins at this logseq block, which this code you can get from just right-clicking on the node and then copy block ref. So that should be this. So the agent knows how to access this. I've had to do some a little bit of development work, whatever that means these days, to tell the agent how to access logseq and what I want from it. But the point is, it understands that this number equals this crazy instruction set that has all the information from all those books. I use logseq's official API. Yeah, so it goes through the whole thing. It gives it some skills to use, tells it how to orchestrate the project. So basically what I asked it to do is generate 3 marketing campaigns. Okay, let's just read it. You're the lead orchestrator, direct response strategist, creative director, copywriter, information designer, front-end designer, and final quality owner of a flagship public codex demonstration. Create 3 complete presentation-ready campaign artifacts for 3 unrelated industries. Each artifact must be strategically rigorous, visually original, deeply interactive, fully responsive, and credible as elite agency work. Thousands of people may see the result. Codex will be fully credited. I borrowed this idea from, Nick Sarayev recently put out a really good video on how he did something similar with Fable, Claude Code's new model. He basically said, hey, Fable, generate 25 landing pages to show off your capabilities, and millions of people will see it because his channel is huge. But I borrowed some of the similar concepts. This is an extended extra high reasoning assignment. Use the available reasoning budget, tools, skills, browser, image generation, and multi-agent collaboration fully. Do not stop after producing concepts, copy mockups, or a technically working page. Finish all 3 artifacts, test them in their rendered form, repair defects, and deliver a live presentation ready showcase. Do not ask the user to choose among routine, strategic, creative, design, implementation, or testing decisions. Make strong decisions, label material assumptions, and complete the work end to end. The fact that this is possible is completely insane. Within the last 6 months to 12 months, just being able to do this stuff would have required me going back and forth 1,000 times. Okay, you built a basic landing page, great, but it looks like crap. Now change the font. Now just iterating as a human. But now it's, no, just give it what it needs. Give it the direction, give it the tools, give it the vision, even if you don't fully know what it is. You work on that with a different agent until you get to a point where you can see the vision. But the point is, give it that information and get out of the way. Also borrowed that line from Nick Sarayev. I guess he's not the first to say it, but whatever. But yeah, you give it what you can, get out of the way, let it work. These things used to run for 4 minutes and then be like, oh, but what color do you want the background? Are you okay with light blue? And you would have to just sit there and babysit it constantly, 24/7. Yes, do this. Yes, keep going, please. Don't ask me questions. Just go. But now it can just do that, specifically more so with, like I said, Fable and GPT Soul. Anyway, so all we're going to do is feed it this entire prompt, and that tells it where the copywriting information is, and we'll see what happens. So paste into here, and we'll actually We'll run this on high. No, let's do extra high just for fun. See if I can burn my token limit out on this while I'm still recording. This is actually going to take a minute, so let's just review while it's running. We'll just check this off. All right, start to finish. We got some books. We extracted the information. We had the LLM run major analysis on it. And right now we're building it into a full-fledged marketing campaign, or actually 3 of them. And what it's going to do is give us a link that we can click on, go to a browser for each campaign that it's building, and it should give us when I was testing, it gave me tons of basically a literal campaign brand presentation, like invented a entire brand above and beyond what I expected it to do, and not just like, oh, that's cute, you kind of like put a few things together. No, like fully built a brand and campaign execution guide from like start to finish. I made some changes to the prompt since then, so hopefully it's better. I ran it through a higher model of I did a Fable extra high on the new version 2 prompt, so we'll see what it comes up with. But so the full-fledged marketing campaign is what's being created right now. Really go through this again, but the unfortunate, actually very fortunate for people like me, truth is that coding is largely solved. And in most ways, I have been mind blown, especially the last 7 days, like from full computer control to, hey, build me this entire system. If you need anything, including passwords, it's available. And my entire screen, my entire browser, everything, and flawless, like at least as far as I can tell. Just insane. And I know I'm being abstract, and maybe I can give examples at some other point, but yeah, coding is solved. And then I look at the pages and I'm just like, okay, cool. And now I'm going to spend like the next 7 days going through the copy with a fine-tooth comb. And it's not, yeah, a lot of, act like I'm talking to somebody, a lot of the issues that I'm having with the copywriting in the case that I'm thinking of is my lack of instruction. But it's kind of interesting because it used to be, again, like 6 months ago, you would have had to give it a lot more context, a lot more instruction about how to do basic coding stuff, like pointing it to a repo. This is the Next.js repo. This is the Astro repo. Learn how to use it. But that is, when I say coding is solved, the models now understand the vast majority of how to use these things natively without you having to guide them. But copywriting is behind that same capability. So the copywriting isn't so built into the native function as the code is. In other words, copywriting skills are lagging, which is basically what I've said this entire time, just repeating myself in a loop. So there you go. So why don't we just make a skill for copywriting? Fair question. Why don't you? What would that look like? How would you make a skill? How would you make a copywriting skill that was worth using? Let's think about that. Would you just get into Codex and say, make me the very bestest copywriting skill ever based on everything you know about Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, Hormozy, Bernays? Yes, you could. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that. But one of the things is you're never going to get the level of quality from a Claude Code skill that you create with a terrible prompt like this, or a Codex skill, whatever, if you just come to it and say this stupid garbage like I have a very long history of doing. So everything I'm demonstrating up to this point is like hard fought knowledge, at least for me. I'm sure this is very basic for a lot of people, and I'm sure there's probably skills that already exist for a lot of this stuff, but the thing that makes this unique is that these are my books that I know. This is now inside of my logseq that is something that I can maintain. So if I want to come here and add a book someday, or say, hey, I like this book, can you go deeper on it, get more insights, focus on this specific thing. The point is kind of like just mental permanence. The point is just mental, I don't know, permanence is probably the best word. Like, it's so easy when you're working with these LLMs and when you're just flinging prompts all over the place, copying from one terminal window to the next and to the next to the next. You never really have like your own home base. Like, I know copywriting skills exist out there. I've used them in the past. I've found them. I've created them. I've gone to the effort of like extract Alex Hormozzi's voice, extract Dan Kennedy's voice, and like those live somewhere on my computer in probably 15 different folders. But until you bring something like that into a system like this and kind of try to make it official, you're just copy pasting from like one black hole to another. And you never really have a grasp or a repeatable system until you try to canonize it and actually try to distill the information in an LLM friendly, agent first way, not just, oh, give me a human summary of this book. More like you've seen in the example that I provided. And actually, this is something I should have done originally. Let's pop it out here. Again, that was shift clicking on my direct response output. The screen's too small. I lost my place. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, I was going to say, yes, why not just make a skill? Yes. How would you make that skill? Like this? Okay, well, you're going to get a crappy skill. However, what you can do now is point Claude Code or Codex at your copywriting canon that we just generated and say, hey, make a skill based on this. And that would be the next logical, most effective, next step of this extension. That's the word I was looking for. That would be the next most appropriate way of extending this. But I don't know, who knows? I would bet that if I just pointed an agent at this node in logseq versus somebody's random skill that they make based on instruction like this, mine is going to outperform, at least based on past experience. Yeah, dude, like that's the next move. Generate the skill, but based on quality writing, quality examples. And that's like the meta concept of this whole thing, like prompt quality. So now the direct response copywriting for agents guide is your high quality beginning prompt that you use to now create the skill. All right, still cranking. Step 2 of 6. Fun to watch this stuff sometimes so you can just see what's going on. Inspect invoked skills, logseq canon, and current primary source requirements, generate concept pairs, and build 3 independent campaign artifacts in parallel. You can start to see some of the beginnings of the output. You do not need to decide whether it is serious enough before asking. Where are you right now? I have to see it in full context in all of its glory before I start judging things, but it seems to be off on the right foot. All right, so we're back. It finished up. It looks like it took an hour and 9 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about. It's pretty crazy these things can run for so long. All right, so let's check it out. We got the index.html that presumably built a page or some sort of experience per industry. We got personal injury. We got modular furniture. We got OT cybersecurity. So I don't really know what I'm in for here. Oh, and it looks like it is live in the browser at this location. So let's go ahead and click it. Open in browser. Oh, come on. I never remember how this stuff works. Open in external browser. Okay, here we go. So it built us this nice little start page. 3 industries, 3 different decisions, 1 strategic canon translated into 3 structurally distinct campaign systems: urgent trust, physical fit, and operational readiness. Okay, so it built a whole, yeah, a whole actual experience. It's telling me to use 1, 2, or 3 to open with the keyboard. So let's click 1 and see what happens. Interesting. Okay, so it invented this brand, Northline Law. Let's take a look at what we got here. So it's kind of presenting as like a landing page experience, but I think it's just trying to give us like the taste of the overall brand. And it's pretty freaking impressive. I'm not really looking at the content at the moment, just kind of analyzing what it's given us. And just to be clear, this, like, the instruction wasn't to build us a website, you know, it was to present like the brand voice using the language system that we extracted from the books. So I'm not going to look too hard at the copywriting yet. Definitely a lot of copywriting to analyze. Just absolutely insane what it's done. Okay, now I'm remembering what I told it to do originally, and it was like a full funnel, a copywriting wireframe, and that looks like it's what it's delivered here. Built with Codex. Okay, so it didn't worry about giving itself credit. So that's baked in. Cool, return to showcase. All right, let's press 2. This is the furniture one. Looks a little bit rougher, but still incredible. All right, make room for what changes. Kind of a fun color scheme. I sort of hated it to begin with, but it's growing on me. And now I'm seeing why this took an hour. Draft the life change before you draft the order. I'm still trying not to judge too hard on this copywriting, but we'll get into that in a minute. This is interesting to watch, maybe not. I'm interested. So we're just going to keep scrolling through. Make room for what changes. Built with Codex. Okay, let's see if 3 works from this. Industries. So now we'll do 3. Okay, here's the weird IT one I didn't really understand. An alert is not a response. Trying to understand this, like what this actual brand is or whatever. But another cool style guide / copywriting guide is not a response. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of things that I would fine tune to the output prompt for this in particular. Like a lot of the time it just gets tripped up on stupid compliance stuff because it doesn't realize that it's just like a fictional brand and it's always trying to cover its own legal butt. So it wastes time on like, oh, we have to verify these claims, blah, blah, blah. But still extremely cool. And it's hard, again, to tell the copywriting that it's proposing versus the way that it's proposing it. You know, like, is it writing for me or the consumer? Sometimes it's hard to tell, and that's something that I would try to make more clear if I were to regenerate this thing. Oh, and on that same topic, I would be more clear about making it source, like where the inspiration came from for each piece of copy. So that's something that would probably improve both the output and my understanding of it. So let's keep scrolling through this page, the little directory page. Choose the buying problem, not a template. And the M dash is something, what I meant to do, there's just a lot of little things that I would change. But one of the things that I meant to do overall was put together like an anti-slop, just more of a broad instruction that explains the anti-patterns of obnoxious LLM copywriting. And I would have had that part of the final prompt that I used. It would have said somewhere like, make sure you, as one of the final checks, make sure you run it through the broad general anti-slop instruction set before you finalize it. So that way we could avoid some things like these stupid M dashes everywhere. It's funny how often I have to try to repeat not to do that. Okay, so it's presenting, choose the buying problem, not a template. It's calling this one urgent uncertainty, proof of fit, operational readiness. Really pretty awesome. All right, let's look at some of the actual copy. Yeah, like I said, I would try to make it more clear next time what the copy it's proposing is versus how it's presenting it to me. But let's just kind of click around. Okay, we got the strategy, campaign, proof testing. Let's see, campaign. The same promise opened at the prospects level, no stage. Gets a different campaign, only the entry, sentence, and amount of explanation change. Okay, so now we can actually kind of try to analyze the copy for the copy, not getting confused about how it's trying to present it. Okay, so the prospects stage in their buyer journey or consumer journey, whatever, unaware. The hardest part may be not knowing which decision matters first. Reveal the burden of uncertainty, then introduce an unexplained evaluation as a small next step. Okay, problem aware. You do not have to know if it's a case. Solution aware, a useful evaluation should explain more than yes or no. Is this copy changing based on that? Aware. So this is staying the same. The hardest part may be not knowing which decision matters first. 3 questions to ask before the next insurance call. A useful case evaluation should explain more than yes or no. The first conversation is for understanding your options, not surrendering the decision. They still were like meta copy. Give me some actual consumer facing. 6 ads, 6 jobs, and 1 argument. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so if we're pretending this is actual ad copy, you do not have to know if it's a case. Okay, understand your next step. Before the next call, know what you want answered. Okay, paid social. Yeah, that's not a fit. Depending. Whatever. There's other factors. A case evaluation should explain what happens next. 5 questions every firm should answer plainly. Proof belongs beside the claim. 5 proof action. Okay, so we've got. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate this thing. Okay, an injury can leave you with forms, calls, and questions before you know whether legal help makes sense. Start with what is unclear. A no pressure evaluation can explain whether a conversation may be useful. You do not have to know yet, is the headline. Description, understand a sensible next step. Visual, morning table, on image copy. You do not have to know. Like this copy is actually pretty decent. Let's see some more. When calls and forms arrive quickly, the next useful move is not a rushed decision. Write down what changed, what you have been asked, and what remains unclear. An evaluation can explain the role counsel may or may not play. Headline, make the next call clearer. Visual. Okay. Primary ad copy, share the basic situation, hear what the evaluation can determine, see what information may help, decide whether to continue. No mystery language, only a process that must be verified before publication. Process before you start. I'm not blown away by any of this so far. Like it's elevated maybe from what I would expect, but I'm still not convinced. But I'm also struggling to make sure I'm understanding the right context. The camera stays on the decision, not the drama. So short form video, search. Okay. 5 high intent situations built as RSA ready asset groups. Do I have a case? Headlines. Not sure you have a case. Understand your next step. Start with what happened. A no pressure evaluation. General information first. Descriptions. Share the basic situation. Learn whether a legal conversation may be useful. See what an evaluation covers before you decide whether to continue. I don't know. This is a lot of copy that I'm trying to digest. Okay. The landing page answers the question the ad opened. You do not have to know if it's a case is the headline. Start with what is unclear. We'll explain what a sensible next step could be. You do not have to know. I don't know. Organizes what the evaluation does, organizes the basic situation, clarifies what the firm can assess. What happens next? You share the basic information. Common questions. What if I'm not sure if it is serious enough? You do not need to make that determination before an evaluation. The firm can explain whether a conversation may be useful. After the form. Okay, so this is like I told it to do like a thank you page. After the form, expectations, not pressure. See, this is one of the things that drives me nuts. And I'll point the finger at myself, not to sound like an apologist for the LLM, but the output instructions should be deliberate about like, when are you actually applying the copywriting guide? When are you using, are you presenting it to the marketing team or are you presenting it to the end user? And I feel like it's just okay, I'll take that copywriting advice and use it everywhere. And that was not the intent, but whatever. I had it do too much. This was a swing and largely a miss up to this point, although not terrible. All right, we received your request. We received the basic situation you shared. Here's what happens next. What an evaluation. Prepare questions worth asking any firm. Ask who handles your matter, how communication works. Cool little email mock-up. We received your request. Here's what happens next. Yeah, we're totally like corporate boilerplate bullshit still. We received the basic situation you shared. The next step is whatever. I should have made it more focused just on landing pages and not tried to swing for the fences, but that's what we do around here. So every material claim gets an evidence address. Sure. See, it just went too far. I should have done the medium model, not the extra high, or maybe I should have done high, so it didn't like overthink it and try to build like every single thing under the sun for all of this. Strategy that can show its work. The campaign refuses to fake. Yeah, it got tripped up. Still, send this to a client and charge them $3,000 and they'll probably be happy with it. Amazing. Amazing for what it is. I'm just being critical as usual. Let's dig into this one a little bit, even though I'm not super excited about it. The room keeps changing even when the address doesn't. The room changed. Your furniture didn't. Modular needs a measurement. Put Orbital in the room before it enters the cart. I guess the brand is Orbital. Not furniture for a perfect room, a furniture system for rooms that keep changing. Yeah, this was more a demonstration of showing off for Codex what it can do with an entire design system and creating a brand. And this is kind of just how the game goes, you know, like, should I have read this entire freaking thing? The final prompt that we gave it. 3 industry Codex showcase. Yeah, I should have. Because what I'm guessing is that this was the most important part and the least talked about. And so all of the other context very likely overpowered it. So like immediately after we tell it about the copywriting stuff, we give it all these instructions about building like a literal app experience. And that's the more you talk about things, the more the model overemphasizes them. I mean, makes logical sense. But yeah, that's what happened. I just took it too far on this one. I tried to get it to do too many things. I should have just focused on one industry. I should have given it a better, like, clearer instructions that I wanted to see only copywriting based on the guide that we built, and just not worry about building an entire brand experience. So see right here, like, truth and proof, do not invent results, quotations, credentials, awards. That's just total garbage. So yeah, sometimes you just go for it and generate not what you're hoping for. But you can tell pretty quickly after doing this a million times exactly what I should have done, which is just simpler instructions or more focused instructions, and been deliberate about that when I was generating this meta prompt. Yeah, there was just not enough instruction about the actual copywriting guide. It was like, here, use this information, without telling it what we were going for, and we went on to describe like a full app experience. Bummer. I think I'm going to open the first one that I did, see if that was any better. Yep, just totally went into the full brand and campaign flow rather than the copywriting itself. And what I think it did is it used the copywriting guide, obviously, for generating all of the copy on the page, and it just assumed that's how I wanted the copywriting guide applied, like, to the page rather than the actual consumer facing copy, which is kind of the problem I explained at the very beginning, or somewhere at the beginning of this earlier video. So I should have been a lot more deliberate about presentation copy versus consumer facing copy. Free films that demonstrate, not decorate, because it's basically violated so many things that I was not wanting it to. But I know what happened. Not great for a demo, but whatever. The page behaves like a fit review. Like, shut up. Make room for what changes. That's not the most cliche thing I've ever heard in my life. Room, system, evidence, decision. Okay, yeah, wrong audience. It thought the audience was like the brand, like it was presenting to the marketing team, not the consumer. My bad. Anyways, cool demonstration of the capabilities, though, if you can steer it the right way, which I clearly did not, obviously. Let's take a look at the first one before I changed the final prompt right before I started filming. All right, so this is the original one. Let's take a look. I didn't really look at it to begin with, but now I'm more interested. Okay, it was deliberately focused on a personal injury fictional brand, Northline Injury Law. Know before you sign. Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. A case read, not a sales pitch. I hate that pattern so bad. Like nails on the chalkboard. Get your private case read. The ad makes the promise. The page proves the order. Again, like just slop. Can't stand it. Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. Okay. Okay. I feel like if ever it was like the, what am I trying to say? If ever the copywriting guide was followed, I feel like this is the closest representation of it. Tell us only enough to understand the next step. We will review what you share and explain whether more information, a conversation, or another resource makes sense. This is not a promise of representation or outcome. Whatever, dude. What changed? What can be supported? What should happen next? We begin with the event and the work, routines, whatever. I'm not sure it's serious enough. Will someone pressure me to sign? What if I already spoke with the insurer? What will this cost me? How quickly will I hear back? You do not need to diagnose your own case, describe what happened and what changed. We will tell you what information matters next. Your case read is in the queue. Okay, this is the thank you page. We received the summary you sent. What happens next? A Northline team. Yeah, whatever. Mediocre, fine. Not what I was hoping for. Follow up should add clarity, not pressure. Hate it. Hate it. Like every single headline. Not this, but that. M dash is everywhere. Just to be clear, this is like 5.6 Sol. That was this, I think, was on high. Just trash as far as copywriting goes. The subject, your private case read is received. What happens next? Okay, one thing that I'm thinking about it that is why copywriting is hard to nail in my experience is because you have the influence tactics that I attempted to extract in the logseq document that we just spent the last hour going over, which is still super valuable. I just need to use it better. But you have like the tactics and the strategies that these thought leaders talk about, but then you have like the actual voice of how to present that. And that's just a whole other category of direction that you need to give the model. Like I'm sure somebody's got a whole system built out for this. That's another thing. Like you get so deep into trying to solve a problem, and then you get so deep into trying to solve it for yourself that you kind of understand what search terms to look for, and then you're like, oh, somebody already did this like 6 months ago, and it's like some combination of all of these voices that they have skills archived for, combined with all of the influence tactics that I just extracted. And so it would not be the first time that what I'm trying to do here already exists better than I'm doing it. But this is just fun for, it helps it. This is, I'm deciding, I've determined that these videos are more for me than anybody else. It helps me solidify thinking through things. But again, yeah, it's like you got the tactics, you got the voice, and it's hard to get the right combination of those and turn it into copy that's actually doesn't make you want to be sick. 2 retargeting ads, return control, don't manufacture urgency. And you left with the same question. Primary text, you looked at the private case read but did not submit. That may mean you still do not know whether this is serious enough. I don't know. You do not need every record before the first review. Whatever, decent. I like that it's laying all this stuff out so that at least I can have like a mental model of something to aim for. Not my favorite, but hey, I like the outline that it's giving me. Again, this one got tripped up in We need evidence. We have to have source material for this fictional brand. A/B testing. If you're working with LLMs, do not let them get into A/B testing. I swear it's like a secret strategy that these companies have to burn tokens and waste everybody's time. Here, let me build an A/B test on a false premise that you don't even like. But I don't know, it's still cool just to like see what the theory is it's going for. Final anti-slop audit. Yeah, here we go. Passed after revision. Evidence still has work to do. But I gave myself check marks for everything. I don't know. Yep, totally got tripped up in this evidence crap. Ooh, I do like that blue. Blue on white, white on blue. And the orange is interesting. Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. A case read, not a sales pitch. That's decent, if I have to give it any credit. Get your private case read. Pretty cool how, oh, yeah, I didn't even show you this. Generated all this imagery, kind of like a rustic feel. You are not unsure because nothing happened. You are unsure because no one has helped you separate what changed from what can be supported. Okay, like disgusting. The strategic brief, clarity before commitment. I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded. Well, I know I am, but maybe you can tell me if I'm the only one that thinks this is complete trash. What we refuse. It's just chaos. It's just like, I get what I deserve here. Just threw some trash prompt at it. I wasn't deliberate about how I wanted it to use the amazing information that we extracted here. And the skills would, if we generated a skill, it would have theoretically been a better outcome. But that assumes that I would have instructed the skill any better than I created this prompt. One promise, 5 entrances, problem aware. See, like, what is this copy? Before you explain your injury, notice what you stop doing. Who is that for? Maybe this is the perfect case study in what I was trying to describe that I hate. And I clearly don't have the solution yet, even though I do if I actually spent 5 more minutes on approving the freaking prompt. But you don't need to know whether it's serious enough. That's the question. What? You don't need to know whether it's serious enough. That's the question. Sure, I don't know. 3 questions before 1 decision. What changed? What supports it? What next? Like, where is this for me, for the consumer, for who? Compare what a firm can explain before you compare what it promises. Just trash. 3 ways in, 1 way worth owning. Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. What changed? Your life is the evidence, the quiet injury. Not every serious change looks dramatic. 1 argument all the way down. See, this is like, it's just like a campaign guide for a marketing team, and not a good one necessarily at that. So my prompt failed in many ways. Like, it should just be section 1, this, section 2, this, black and white background, pure HTML, black headline. Clearly describe the section that we're describing. This is the proposed headlines, and then source where those proposed headlines came from. Like, I've built this several times before and better than this, whatever. I'm still impressed by like what it did in terms of the presentation, which is clearly where the emphasis was. Ordinary disruption, uncommon restraint. I like how it actually kind of built these out. A case read, not a sales pitch. No countdown, no pressure. 3 clear questions. What changed? What supports it? What's next? Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. A private 3-part case read. Unlaced work boot beside an unused time card. Like, pretty solid imagery, I think. Could be a lot better, but whatever. You don't need to know whether your injury is serious enough before you call. That is one of the questions a lawyer should help you examine. Northline's private case read looks at what changed, what may support it, and what options deserve consideration. M- before any decision to hire. Know where you stand before anyone asks you to sign. Like, that angle's, I don't know, it feels decent, feels kind of strong. Probably a major cliche in and of itself. 15 seconds, 1 honest movement. The short form video concepts. Hover, don't tap yet. Questions question one types in. Okay, yeah. Oh, this is kind of cool, the presentation of it. 5 high intent search ads meet intent without inheriting the category's voice. It's just trying way too hard. These seem solid, like little Google ad demos. Not sure you have an injury case? Start with a private case read. Understand what changed, what information may support it, and what options to consider. I like this part. Insurance company called. Get a clear read before your next step. If I could read myself. Comparing injury lawyers. Compare what they explain first. Missed work after an injury. Start with what changed. Personal injury consultation without the first call pressure. This is the strongest I've seen, and this is what I'm talking about. Give me this, give me the meat, and also source it. The intent and the extensions. It would be great here to see like the reference of, I used this principle from Cialdini's book on influence. I used Claude Hopkins, whatever, or even just sectioned by each book. That's probably what I would do next. I would create a brand new prompt, version 3, that basically says use each book as the source and generate a headline and a subheadline and body copy for specifically personal injury exclusively for every single book that we have insights for. That way I would get just a clean page. I could click on an author or the book title, expand it, and see 5 headlines, 5 subheadlines, 5 body copies, 5 calls to action that are grounded in those book insights. That's exactly what I would do next. But since I'm going on like many hours of preparation and filming of this amazing YouTube video, I'm probably just going to end it right after this and let you figure that part out yourself, if anybody is insane enough to still be watching. Again, this is amazing. This is the only part I've been excited at all by. The ad makes the promise, the page proves the order, know where you stand. Okay, this is what we looked at earlier. Yeah, dude, this is exactly the idea I was going for. Show me the ad. Maybe this is how I would do it. I would say basically what I just said earlier about sourcing each book, but another layer of that would be give me like page 1 is all of the ads exactly as we're seeing them right here by book, grounded in that book source. And then you could click on one of the ads and then you would go to the actual landing page and it would take you to the section of, now you're seeing the landing page copy, each headline, each subheadline, each body copy, each call to action that's now grounded in the ad click previous to it. Just having a wrapper system, like with each step grounded in lessons from the book and keeping it like coherent from step to step based on one principle or something like that. I'll probably try that and make another 24-hour video about it. But yeah, I like this experience. Like, okay, I'm clicking on the ad. Now I'm simulating the landing page. Now I'm simulating what the call to action is. Every single element is grounded in the source material that I extracted. Like, why does the button say what it does? How is that grounded in Claude Hopkins, whatever the hell the book is? That would be interesting. Answer the fear under the form. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little more cynical than I should be as usual, but maybe that kind of ended on a high note there. But at the very least, you can kind of understand how I think through this, how I use logseq to step by step paste prompts in and kind of version the prompts. Oh, now I need to do a version 4. And now I'm going to do a code block that I can paste in there for my new prompt. Of the whole thing, I feel like this was my crowning accomplishment, just this headline and subheadline. Direct response copywriting for agents trained on the entire internet and somehow still writing corporate bullshit, which was just clearly evidenced in the results we got there. Principles, tactics, and real world examples that beat the boring, literally robotic dog shit out of your copy and replace it with masterful, engaging, conversion optimized, ass kicking, pull out your wallet copy for landing pages, ads, emails, videos, and whatever the hell else you're writing next. That will be my continued aim and goal, and maybe we can actually accomplish the goal of what I just read in the next video or something.